If you think love is soft, think again, because tonight's story will prove that love can be the most dangerous weapon ever created. Before we begin, make sure you hit subscribe right now, because the stories we bring aren't just entertainment, they're emotional storms that will stay with you long after the screen fades to black. If you're watching from the United States, from the United Kingdom, or anywhere in the world where hearts still dare to feel deeply, this story is for you. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and prepare yourself, because this is not just a love story. This is a destruction. It began on a rain-soaked evening in Boston, the kind of cold Atlantic rain that seeps into bones and secrets alike. Amelia Whitmore stood outside the gallery that had once belonged to her mother, staring at the flickering sign that read Passion's Flower. The name had always sounded romantic to strangers, but to Amelia it was a warning. Passion bloomed fast, bright, and then it withered, leaving only thorns. Inside that gallery hung paintings that told the story of her family's legacy, but tonight, the gallery was hosting something else, the engagement celebration of Amelia and Daniel Carter, a man the city adored. Daniel was charismatic, wealthy, and the golden boy of Boston's elite society. He had proposed with a flawless diamond ring in front of a crowd at a charity gala, and the applause had been deafening. Everyone thought it was a fairy tale. Everyone was wrong, because standing across the street, watching through the rain-streaked glass, was Julian Reyes. And Julian was not just a guest uninvited. He was Amelia's past, the kind of past that never truly dies. Amelia had met Julian 3 years earlier in London during an art residency program. He had been raw where Daniel was polished, intense where Daniel was composed. Julian painted like he was bleeding onto the canvas. He made her feel seen, not admired. They had loved each other fiercely, recklessly, the kind of love that burns too hot to survive. It ended the night Julian accused her of choosing comfort over courage. She had left him in the rain outside his studio, and neither of them had said goodbye properly. That unfinished ending lingered like smoke. Now he was here, in Boston, at her engagement party. Daniel noticed Julian before Amelia did. Daniel had always been perceptive. He didn't become a successful venture capitalist without learning how to read threats. He saw the way Julian's eyes locked onto Amelia, and in that moment, Daniel felt something unfamiliar, fear. Not of losing money, not of losing status, but of losing her. The confrontation happened quietly, almost politely. Julian approached Amelia when Daniel was momentarily distracted by donors. Their eyes met, and the room seemed to shrink. Amelia felt the air leave her lungs. Julian didn't smile. He didn't need to. His presence alone reopened wounds she had stitched closed. "I didn't come to ruin anything," Julian said softly. "I just needed to see if you were truly happy." The question lingered between them like a blade. Amelia didn't answer immediately, because she didn't know. Daniel returned, sensing the tension. The introduction was cold, measured. Two men assessing each other. Julian the artist with nothing to lose. Daniel the financier with everything to protect. The battle lines were invisible but undeniable. Over the next few weeks, Julian remained in Boston under the pretense of showcasing his art at a neighboring gallery. But his real reason was Amelia. He told himself he needed closure. He lied to himself. Amelia began visiting Julian's studio late at night, telling Daniel she was working on expanding Passion's Flower into a modern exhibition space. With Julian, she felt alive again, arguing about art, about ambition, about the compromises she was making. With Daniel, life was stable, structured, safe. Daniel spoke of investments, real estate in New York, a future in London. Julian spoke of running away to Barcelona and painting until dawn. Two futures, two versions of herself. The triangle tightened. Daniel, suspicious and quietly desperate, hired a private investigator. He didn't confront Amelia immediately. Instead, he gathered evidence, photos of her entering Julian's studio, text messages hinting at emotional intimacy. Daniel wasn't just jealous, he was calculating. Then came the first twist. Julian discovered something buried in his father's old letters, evidence that his father had once worked for Carter Industries, Daniel's family company, and had been wrongfully accused of embezzlement decades earlier. The scandal had destroyed Julian's family. His father died disgraced. His mother never recovered financially. And now, the son of the man responsible was marrying the woman Julian loved. It felt like fate, or revenge. Julian confronted Daniel privately, revealing the documents. Daniel was stunned. He had never known the full story. The accusations had happened before he joined the company. But instead of apologizing, Daniel did what he did best: he offered a deal. He would fund Julian's biggest exhibition ever, clear his father's name quietly, but Julian would leave Boston. Leave Amelia. Forever. Julian refused. Amelia, unaware of this confrontation, felt the tension escalating. Daniel became colder, more distant. Julian became more urgent, more passionate. She felt pulled apart, as if choosing one would erase the other version of herself. Then came the night everything shattered. Amelia discovered she was pregnant. The timing was devastating. She didn't know whose child it was. She kept it secret at first, paralyzed by fear. But secrets rot, and eventually Daniel found the pregnancy test hidden in the bathroom drawer. His joy was immediate, overwhelming, until he saw the doubt in her eyes. Daniel demanded the truth. Amelia confessed the affair. The silence that followed was not loud. It was deadly. Daniel didn't scream. He didn't rage. He simply walked out. Julian, when he found out, reacted differently. He was ready to claim the child as his, ready to build a chaotic but authentic life together. Amelia, however, realized something painful. Loving someone intensely doesn't guarantee stability. She began questioning not just the men, but herself. Daniel returned days later with DNA test arrangements already made. The results would take 2 weeks. 2 weeks of unbearable tension. During those 2 weeks, Daniel uncovered more about his father's past and realized Julian's accusations were true. Carter Industries had indeed framed Julian's father to cover internal fraud. Daniel felt the weight of inherited guilt crushing him. For the first time, he saw himself not as a hero in Amelia's story, but as the villain in someone else's. In an unexpected move, Daniel held a press conference confessing the decades-old corruption of his family's company, publicly clearing Julian's father's name. The city was shocked. Stocks plummeted. Daniel's reputation fractured. But Julian's family was finally vindicated. Amelia watched the broadcast in tears. She saw a side of Daniel she had never fully understood, a man willing to destroy his empire for truth. Then the DNA results arrived. The child was Daniel's. Julian felt the world collapse quietly inside him. He had prepared himself for either outcome, but hope had been dangerous. He congratulated Amelia with a hollow smile and told her he would leave Boston for good. But fate wasn't finished. On the night Julian planned to depart, Amelia rushed to his studio one last time. She told him she loved him, not the safe version of love she had with Daniel, but the wild, transformative love that changed her. Yet she also admitted she couldn't abandon the father of her child. Julian kissed her goodbye, a kiss that tasted like endings. Driving away in the storm that mirrored their first reunion, Julian's car skidded on the wet highway. The crash was catastrophic. Daniel was the one who received the hospital call. Amelia collapsed when she heard. They rushed together, united not as rivals but as two people terrified of loss. Julian survived, but barely. He remained in a coma for weeks. During that time, Amelia gave birth prematurely due to stress. A fragile baby boy entered the world fighting for breath. Daniel stayed by Amelia's side every moment. And in that hospital room, stripped of ego and rivalry, Daniel made a decision. He told Amelia that if Julian woke up and she still loved him, Daniel would step aside. Because love should not be possession. Weeks later, Julian finally opened his eyes. Amelia was there.